how I started a freelance business in high school. So I never had to work a regular job and eventually grow it to a $65,000 a year business right out of high school coming up. All right, I'm going to brain dump everything I know about starting a freelance video business. And I think this can apply to multiple businesses like in the creative industry. But I'm gonna tell you what I did. Then I'm gonna talk about the mistakes I made and where I'm at now and what I could have done, what you could do to make it even bigger than I ever grew it to. And I'm not saying this is the perfect way. This is how I did it. So in junior high, I shot some videos for a class project on an iPad. Just grabbed the iPad, shot the class project, ended up being really cool. Started creating videos with friends on YouTube on some dead channels that will never be found. And it was a lot of fun. I was one of the only people in that group that actually stuck to the video side of things. I really enjoyed it. So I started using my iPad at home, shooting my videos with my brother. And this is in junior high and early high school. And by ninth grade or 10th grade, I think about ninth grade, I knew this is what I wanted to do. I told my parents, I am not going to college. My goal is by the time I'm 18 to have a business that sustains me and I can move out. So what did I do? Well, I knew I had an equipment issue. I didn't have the equipment I needed to start this business. And I was like, all right, I got to work my face off and I got to find a couple $100 to buy a Canon Rebel T3i. Now there are a lot better cameras out nowadays, but that's what my goal was. So along with some small side hustle and editing gigs, I also found my grandpa's old lenses from the 90s for a Canon camera and I flipped those on Craigslist. And then I was able to buy my first camera body. From there, I took to YouTube. Completely self-taught. I did not buy courses. I did not go to college. I didn't go to a film school. I didn't do any of that. I was in high school and I just learned. I learned the depths of cinematography. Now I felt like at the time I wanted to make movies, and my goal was like, okay, maybe I can get into the movie industry and work up from there. I had a family member that at the time worked for Paramount. And did some really high level stuff at Paramount. And they kind of told me, hey, when you graduate, you can get a job at the editing bay kind of as a assistant. And we pay like $4,000 a month, something like that. Pretty good. I was like, all right, that's not bad. Also at the time, I'm pretty sure he said $2,000 a week, but I'm going to be conservative here and say $4,000 a month because that would be nuts. I'm like, why did I not do that? So I was like, cool, that's the plan. Let me keep learning about editing. So I learned every single thing I could. I learned how to use a DSLR for the first time. I learned filmmaking techniques that I also used on my iPad. I created skits and just fun stuff like that. And then once I felt decent enough, like I could achieve some sort of money with this skill that I'm learning, I asked around at my church. I asked if people needed videos. And there was one gentleman who hired me to shoot a video and I was going to do it for free. I was like, hey, I'm going to do some videos for free. I need to build up my portfolio. Now, a lot of people don't like doing things for free because they're like, I know my worth. My concept with that is that you're never that valuable. If you're just starting out, you need to prove that you can do things. Now you can do that with spec work, like shooting fake commercials or, and then kind of building up a portfolio that way. But nothing is better than actual hands-on experience with a client because it shows that you can deliver for somebody. So I did this job for him and it came out pretty good. My first video ever. It's actually still on my YouTube channel, but it's private, unlisted. You'll never see it. But that was my first video and he paid me $350 for that just because he was kind. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. So from there, I was like, I think I can make some decent money with this. And I began to pivot my idea, my expectation. I don't know if I want to work for Paramount, for Hollywood. I think I want to have a production studio where I shoot commercials because that was a lot of fun. And I don't know if I want to be tied down to a desk at an editing bay and living that life, moving to Hollywood. Yuck. Yeah, my ninth grade year, I was still in school at it was actually a private school that my dad worked out for a lot of years. We got a great discount. So I went there, and that was kind of like my childhood, that school. I was there from a really young age to ninth grade. In ninth grade, my dad lost his job there because the school eventually shut down. And my parents told me, all right, you got to go to another school. So I put in my vote for homeschooling. I thought, hey, sophomore year, I can work half the day because homeschooling is so much faster. And then the other half of the day, I can work on getting clients. So I spent quite a while doing that and trying to figure out how to get clients. But if I'm going to be truthful, most of the time I spent just hanging out with friends because I didn't have that much demand, nor did I really understand how to do it. But I also started my YouTube channel around back then, and I still have some videos up, but it was a little bit later than the ones that I kept up. And then I went back to public school my junior year, and then I went back to a kind of a homeschool system, a charter school system, my senior year, because I actually started getting clients. Now I got a remote editing job for $8 an hour. I don't know how that was legal, but I did remote editing for $8 an hour. It's super easy interviews, chopping them up, and then sending them out over Dropbox, or actually uploading them to YouTube. And that was really nice. Now, how I got that was I was shooting free videos for Christian rappers. What do you know? Very small Christian rappers. And they got coverage by a Christian hip hop publication called Rapzilla. And that company, sees my tag, sees all this stuff. And those guys reach out saying, hey, I love your work. Your music videos are really cool, yada, yada, yada. Would you like to edit our videos? Now, because I was taking a lot of free stuff, they eventually got around to paying me $8 an hour, which was great at the time. I just started dating my girlfriend, and I put in an application at Smart and Final. I took an interview at Smart and Final, sat down with the person. Smart and Final is a local grocery store. And I sat down with the person, I interviewed, they told me I got the job. I can come in, I can start the next day. And I was like, great. I'm walking across the street after getting this job and essentially accepting it. And that's when I got the text from Rapzilla. And they pretty much confirmed, hey, we can pay you $8 an hour. I was like, okay, this will take 2 hours a day. I was getting paid 16 hours a day. And I would do it after school, after I went to public school at that time. So I figured, hey, that's enough money to go on dates with my girlfriend. I don't need to work at Smart and Final. And I actually just never showed up or got back to them, or even told them that I wasn't doing that, which is pretty funny. It's very irresponsible, which became a pattern later on, not getting back to people and following up, which we'll talk about when we get to the issues part. But doing a lot of free work finally got me this consistent monthly paid client, and that was really nice. And so as I was doing that more and more and more, I was also shooting other stuff on the side, like weddings. Some family friends paid me for weddings. I think I was getting paid like $800 for a wedding. I'm like, whoo, that's a lot of money. And then I would pay another second shooter maybe $200 to come and shoot with me. And so I was getting small paid stuff here and there, nothing super substantial. And I was continuing my YouTube channel at the time as well. By the time the big factor that moved the needle for me was a local Christian hip hop artist in San Diego put out a video on YouTube and said, hey, I want to start recording weeklies. I'm going to shoot these one take music videos. I'm going to make a song every single week. I was like, oh, that's awesome. I'm a big fan. He wasn't huge enough to where I couldn't reach out to him. So I just left a comment on his YouTube channel and said, hey, I would love to shoot those for you for free. So for the next year and a half or so, I was shooting videos for free about 30 minutes away. Every week I would drive up, or he would come and pick me up, and we would shoot these weekly music videos. And we'd also hang out. From there, I met even more artists, and he would pay me when he could. It wasn't very formal. When I shot more high-end stuff, he would pay me for that, and it was very casual. We became really good friends, and his name was Ruslan. And around that time, he's 15 years older than me. And so around that time, he's giving me the game on business, and I'm kind of learning a lot of this stuff I didn't know, like what's credit. I was like, so credit's basically people spending money that they don't have? And he's like, yep, that's credit. I'm like, okay, interesting. I don't need that, I guess. He's teaching me about taxes and business finances and write-offs and all this stuff. I was like, wow, this is so interesting. And through that, he started to get more local buzz, and he would always share my tag, my Instagram handle, on his Instagram. And over time, as that grew, I got reached out from this one guy. And he said, hey, I am putting together a film crew for a celebrity trainer. He trains NFL players, NHL players, UFC fighters, yada, yada, yada. And he does like the fitness side of things. I was like, whoa, think this is a scam, but whatever. And I went with it. It ended up being legit. The guy reaching out was a big fan of Ruslan's and has just saw all my work. Just saw the little documentaries we shot for Ruslan and his music, saw all the weeklies, saw the music videos that I was doing for other artists at the time. And he was just a fan of my work and gave me an opportunity to pitch to a fitness trainer who trained Drew Brees and trained Michael Chandler and trains a lot of really big names. And I landed that job for $4,000 a month. One client. And the gig was shooting Gary Vee style vlogs twice a week. So we had 2 episodes going out. Yeah, just 2 or 3 episodes. I think it was just 2 episodes. And then I would also edit the little trailers for Instagram and all that stuff. So it was a heavy load, but I mean, that was a livable wage. With that job, I was, and I was contracted. So I still had other clients on the side, just small stuff. And then within a couple months, and that was right out of high school. So I was like, boom, I just achieved my goal. And within a couple months, I got, just from my network, just from other creatives I've connected with that I shot other small commercials for $100 or $200. This graphic designer connected me with this other graphic designer who worked for this other company. And I got another client for $2,000 a month shooting little laser lights. They had little laser lights. So at the time I was 19. I was 19, making $6,000 a month on the low end. And then with extra stuff, my best month was $10,000 in a month. That's crazy thinking about it. And that wasn't normal. I would say the normal was $6,000 to $7,000 a month. That was normal. Now, when I reflect, you could say, oh, that's just luck. It's a lot of people you knew and that sort of thing. Yeah, but it's also why I'm such a proponent for doing stuff for free. If you know that the person has a big enough audience, you're getting exposure. Now, exposure is never really a good thing. It depends on the person's character as well. But Ruslan's a good dude and really gave me a lot of credit. And it was a super solid community. And at the time, I think he had 15 or 20,000 followers. And so getting promoted on that platform, I became a regular kind of on his Instagram feed, and people got used to my work. And that's how he found me. He said, all right, this kid's killing it. He's really, and he pretty much pitched for me. I didn't know anything about sales. It was nuts. I didn't know anything about sales. So then, so that's why I'm a huge proponent for free work, because the free work is what, one, created enough relationships, free or really cheap work when you're starting out, because that created enough relationship equity with all these people that eventually just through word of mouth, I got landed and got placements. Now, working with rappers probably isn't like the best goal because they're not really plugged in with like the business side of things that are people that are going to hire you for promo videos and whatnot. But it did work out because, you know, there's brands that follow them and will also cross over and want to hire you just because they saw your really cool music video and they also follow that artist. But doing free stuff for other graphic designers and local t-shirt companies and stuff like that really worked out. I mean, that at the end of the day, like that single client was $4,000. The next one was $2,000, and those all closed within a matter of 2 or 3 months. And so I was like, all right, I'm doing pretty good here. I'm kind of chilling. And that was monthly. And they were monthly for a very, very long time. They didn't go away. So that was really nice. Then down the road, I got another client in the online business sector, paying $1,500 a month for a couple shoot days and editing for their online course and sales page video. And with them, I learned a lot about online business and sales and actually how to market. Before, I was just a video guy. But with them, I started learning how to do sales, how to pitch, how to make ads that convert and do that sort of thing. And I started stacking different skills. I quickly realized I had to learn more than just video. So for all these other brands, I mean, this kind of goes back a little bit in the high school, but before I got the big clients, I was like, all right, I need to add more skill sets than just video so I can get paid more. I was like realizing, hey, if someone comes to me and they say they need a video and I say they need video and photo, they'll pay me a lot more. So I learned video and photo, and I really skill stacked those things up. So I went from a videographer to a videographer and a photographer. I was able to get these larger packages because every week I'm shooting tons of photos for the fitness influencer and shooting these like in-depth 2 like Gary Vee style vlogs, which is pretty hardcore. It was a lot of work. And so it was super worth it. And that's another tip, I guess. Skill stack. Add on as many things as you can. So when I started working with the people in the online business sector, I was able to stack on not just photo and video, but I also was able to stack on psychology and sales psychology and how to sales funnels and copywriting and script writing and ad writing and figuring out how to make things that convert. And that is when things really heated up. That's when I was able to start landing a lot bigger clients in that online business space, because I was able to be known as the video guy that understands marketing. I can't tell you how many times I heard that. You know, it's so hard to find a video guy that understands marketing, that understands social media, that understands how to shoot a video sales letter, a video page, or a video sales page video, a sales page video. Oh my gosh. Finally got it. A lot of people were hiring me because I could guide them in their script as they're unfolding and we're shooting it as we go, and just be like, hey, you should say this. Hey, you should touch on this pain point. You should say it like this. It sounds better. It sounds cleaner. And I was able to become more of a director and a kind of a sales psychology copywriter in the back, and behind the scenes. And it really helped. It really helped close videos, get close video deals, and get really well-paid video gigs. And I would say I would get, on top of getting paid $6,000 to $7,000 a month, I would consistently get an additional $1,000 to $2,000 video every month. Doing that, being the guy that understands sales and video and photo, and I was like a full package. That is how I built my video business. That is how I did it. Now, so if I was to retrack the biggest highlights is I learned as much as I could about the skill and implemented daily, even with the equipment I had, even if it was just an iPad. 2, I eventually hit the market with a minimal viable product. I didn't have to be shooting on a red. I didn't have to be doing all these crazy things. But what is the least amount of effort I can do to start creating a great video product for somebody else? Maybe I'm not the best filmmaker yet. Maybe I don't have all their equipment yet, but we got some work lamps and I can create a good lighting setup and we can shoot. 3 was doing lots of free work. I knew if I can get lots of free work, I can build my Rolodex of people and I can be known and they can pass on my name and I can do gigs for $200 to $300. Number 3, skill stacking. When I started skill stacking and adding on photography, I was able to double the price I could for the packages, and I could start locking in monthly retaining clients. The monthly retaining clients was a game changer, not just doing all these one-offs, because I had the stability of these 2 clients every single month. And then I could get the extra clients to like really cake out on top of everything I was making. But because I could offer the full package, video and photo, I could pitch them on these amazing social media packages for these people that want to grow their personal brands, and they took it. And to grow your personal brand, you have to be doing it every month. You have to be doing it every week. So it was an easy sell. There was no like, hey, let's shoot a video, a sales page video every month. That doesn't make sense. But shooting social media content made a lot of sense because people needed time to grow. So skill stacking was huge. And then I would say that was probably the depth of my personal experience. I mean, there's also all the technological side of learning filmmaking and how to do all this stuff, but I'm talking about the business here. Now, the things I did horribly. One, I didn't save for taxes. I to this day have a absurd amount of tax debt that I'm paying off, and it's a car payment amount of money every single month. That's just out of my monthly finances. That's really bad. It was really, really, really bad. It's a really bad mistake. If you were starting a video business, and it's because I was so young, if you were starting a video business of any sorts, regardless of how young you are, but especially if you're young and you're not aware of taxes, they're coming for you and you're going to owe the taxes. I promise you that. You're going to owe a lot of money. And you have to save 20 to 30% of it every single month. 20% is pretty fair, especially with write-offs. And then you should pay your quarterlies as well. If you do all that, you'll be in the clear. I didn't. Huge mistake. Second huge mistake was my ability to communicate and follow through. So I was kind of your typical freelancer, if that makes sense. Like the freelancers kind of get the bad rap of not being great communicators and that sort of thing. I didn't get back to people. I waited till the last minute to get things done. And last minute meaning, it's due the next day. And I'm like, all right, I had a whole week to work on it, but I know I can knock it out in an 8-hour, 10-hour editing session. So I would do that and I would knock it out and they would like it and it's cool, but it was a lot of stress on me and it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. Clients sometimes weren't very happy. Like, hello question mark texts are never good if you're running a business. Try to minimize those by just responding. So I didn't like the social responsibility of keeping up with people, and that was probably just from being immature and so my communication was bad, and that definitely halted my ability to get more gigs. My understanding of business in general, if I was to go back, I would hire people on to help me, even if it's just contracting. I would build an editing person into every single project because that's my least favorite part. And then I would slowly start raising my rates and bringing on a second shooter to help me with it. And I would start outsourcing more work so I have more capacity to focus on that. And I could only do that, raise my rates and do all that stuff, if I was communicating better. If I was communicating a lot better, and being really on top of it, being really on top of my sales and just really hustling in that sort of thing, then that's when I could start scaling up to more of like video production, studio, agency type of work. But I never did. I was kind of just a freelancer. Number 3 biggest mistake is I didn't fully understand hard work. So I never had to work at like a bad job. I never had to work at the Smart Final. I literally never worked at a regular job, a W-2 job, until 2 years ago. And I thought I did, but I didn't really understand like consistency and putting your head down and grinding and creating a solid schedule. Now that changed when I got married. I created a better schedule, but I still, was very like, oh, I'll do a couple hours of editing every day and then I'll do market research or, kind of just lollygag and put projects off. Like I had a really chill life from a schedule wise, but I enjoy where I'm at now. What got me out of freelancing, and this is a good heads up too, and it's not worth not going into freelancing because of this, but it's just a good heads up, is I got really tired of working on a bunch of different projects, surface level, and not going deep with things. As I developed, sales ability and marketing ability, and getting really good at those things and being known for those things in my local community, because I'm around all these other businesses that are doing multiple seven figures, and these business owners that I'm shooting with are teaching me actively all these things, and I'm trying them on other clients and stuff like that. I got more excited about that side of things and the nitty gritty than just the surface level. Like, here's a video, go take it and run with it. And I don't really have any control over the result of that. And as that went on, I got really burnt out, really tired, disliked it. I didn't like the pursuit of, I don't know. I think I was more obsessed with money back then, because there was this idea that there's no income ceiling. Like, I could just make as much money as I possibly could. Yeah. And so that wasn't healthy at all. And so I eventually hit a wall, realized I don't think I like this anymore. I think I need to go work for like a production studio or just some regular agency and just have some time behind the scenes, like humble myself and know I don't need to make $1 million in my 20s. I don't need to do any of this crazy stuff. I just need to have a chill, like I need to learn to be content with what I have, because I was making good money, but I wasn't disciplined. I wasn't any of these things. So come back around, my buddy Ruslan actually pivoted during the pandemic from music, from just doing music full time to doing music and YouTube. And his YouTube popped off. His YouTube started crushing it. And I actually just told him, like, yeah, I think I'm going to go get a job. And he was like, well, what do you want to do at the job? And I was like, I want to, obviously the video and the photography side of things, but I want to focus more on the sales and the back end and all this stuff and really help a company grow. And he's like, well, I kind of need that, bro. He's like, this YouTube thing is kind of popping off. I was like, for real? And I was just telling him as a friend. And then a couple months later, I came on part-time in January of 2021. Then I worked part-time with, I scaled back my clients, and I had just the 2 retainer clients. I didn't have any of the extra clients until August. And then I went full-time in August of 2021, and I have been full-time since. So I'm coming up on 2 years full-time, but it's been like 2.5 years of working for him. And that was my first W-2 job. That was my first W-2 job ever. The first time not freelancing for income. And it's been great. I love it. At the time I came on, he was at 50,000 subs, very minimal products. And now there's courses, and we're at 311,000 subscribers on the main channel. There's a second channel with 120,000 subscribers. And a third channel that we're working on growing right now. And we're growing it all with purpose. There's a whole purpose behind it. And that's actually what this 100K play button is. Obviously, as you guys know, if you look at my channel subscriptions, I don't have 100K subscribers, but this is from that channel when we grew it from 50 to 100K. He grew it by 50K by himself. I helped him a little bit to 100K. But then I was mainly working on like the courses and the back end and stuff like that, and helping with like thumbnails. Up to 100K. But then after 100K, I really went on for titles and thumbnails, and I do that multiple times a day in strategy. And I'm also in the videos sometimes and stuff like that. So I actually have another one on the way, because the second channel, we just grew past 100K. So I'm going to have another 100K plaque, which I'm pretty pumped on. And I really, really, really enjoy going deep on one project and going deeper on it, and really enjoying the process of working with a small team and giving it all my focus. And if I'm gonna be honest, out of all the W-2 jobs, this is probably the least W-2 job ever. So I still don't really have like a normal job in a sense, because it's like working with YouTube, but it's a lot more structured. And over the past 2.5 years, I have absolutely learned discipline and consistency and what hard work is. And maturity helps with that as well. Just growing old, like I'm almost 25. I got married at 21. So years, almost 4 years of marriage, learned a little bit more, but also just going into work and seeing Ruslan do this day in and day out, I modeled consistency and discipline. And now I truly feel like I have those capabilities. So if I was to go back, I would try to implement discipline and consistency sooner, a lot sooner. And I think you could grow it a lot bigger with those things. I think that would be the huge key. I don't think you need courses. Please don't go to college for any of this stuff. You can learn it all online. But I will probably never go back to freelancing. I don't think I ever will. I'm enjoying building a media company as an employee, as kind of like a second in command. I think that's kind of my sweet spot right now. I could see for a long time. I think it's my personality sweet spot, to be honest, being a second command and being an encourager and an executor and, a visionary for certain things. I think that's kind of my sweet spot. I'm learning to not have the need to be the first in command. It has to all be about me. So just those are all things to think about. That is how, if you're starting your freelance business, that is how I did it. If you have any questions down below, comment. I'll try to answer everything in here. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you found it valuable, this is how I did it. These are some of the mistakes I've learned. I hope you can learn from them as well. Give this video a like and subscribe. Please subscribe. It was a long video. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.